Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the MONIKO In style headphones. These are constructed out of aluminum, so they're fairly sturdy, and they categorize as a mid-tier pair of headsets, which you can pick up for under $20 on Amazon. It's not by a brand name, and they're not audiophile grade, but for general listening, if you want a slightly enhanced experience compared to a boxed headset you might get for free with a phone or MP3 player, this is certainly an option to consider if you don't want a wireless Bluetooth headset. It comes with a nice carrying case inside the packaging, and then there's access just to the 3.5mm wired headset, which we'll take a closer look at in a second. On the very top compartment, there's access to a few accessories, inclusive of silicone tips that you get a more comfortable fit if you don't like what's pre-included. Taking a closer look at the design of the earphones next, you can see they're relatively elegant and classy without being too over the top. The 3.5mm jack is gold-plated for an ultra-secure connection, and you can see that all the plates where you come in contact with the hands are crafted out of aluminum, so it does feel really sturdy and well built. The wire here is also made out of this interesting fusion between acrylic plastic and also a nylon braided sheath underneath, which ensures that this should last for quite a while. On the downside, this isn't using a flat ribbon wire, it's still a traditional round wire, which means that it does tangle a little bit more easily if you put it into your pockets without using the case and taking some time to wind it up again. But all in all, they feel quite good. Now, one downside of using aluminum tips though is that they are a little bit hefty, so if you do wear these for extended periods of time, you do start to notice that there's something in your ears. They still are very comfortable and soft in terms of the silicone tips, but again, there's some added weight just because the build here is quite premium. All in all though, wearing these for 2 to 3 hours at once doesn't inhibit your listening experience too much. So over here we have access to the inline remote, which is incredibly small, but there's access to a pretty responsive and tactile key that you can tap on for answering or rejecting a phone call that also dubs as a play-pause key for MP3 player applications. There's also a noise isolating microphone that picks up sound quite well and can be used with both Android and iOS to answer and talk using the speakerphone mode. They sound loud, clean, and I didn't have any problems when testing it even outdoors. Going into the audio quality next, again, they are actually quite decent for this price point. They offer a surprisingly good amount of bass, so in lower frequencies there's quite a punch if you are listening to drum beats or EDM electronic music, and so I think you'll be pleased if you are listening closely to that. In terms of mids, they perform quite well. That tends to be a strength of these relatively small in-ear style headphones, and when it comes to the higher frequencies, they tend to lose a little bit of detail if you turn the volume all the way up and listen super closely. But again, these aren't meant as expensive audiophile grade replacement headphones, but they're just meant for general casual listening, and for that they do sound quite well. One downside is because of these round wires and the fact that they are super well constructed and a little bit hefty, they do have a bit of wire noise or movement. So if you are jogging or moving around, you can kind of hear the wires rubbing against your clothing, so they're not completely silent and perhaps not ideal for sports or exercising. For that, I would look for a wireless pair of headsets. But if you are sitting down, maybe at an airplane or in a car, this does sound, very, very good. Of course, one downside is it doesn't have active noise cancellation, but for passive noise cancellation, they already do a nice job of drowning out the background sounds because the ear tips themselves are quite snug and form-fitting. They also don't leak too much sound to the outside world. So overall, actually sounds surprisingly good. For this price range of sub $20 in-ear style headphones, these definitely are within the top 10 or 20 that I've tested. So overall, despite lacking a brand name to back up this product, I would say that if you like the design, you like what you see from the visuals and the color scheme, this is definitely something to consider picking up because it's a huge step up compared to box headsets you get for free, and the build quality is excellent. I would say that the sound is also very good for this price range. Obviously, it could be better. It could be cleaner sounding if you listen super closely. It gets reasonably loud though, and of course there's a bit of wire noise, and it's not a flat ribbon wire design, but it's already quite sturdy, and I think they did a nice job with the attention to details here on the construction. You can check out more details in our official written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the MONIKO In style headphones.